In this story, the Phoenix has taken flight once more to bring balance to the cosmos. However, during her cosmic guardianship, Jean Grey was shocked to receive a psychic message from Sarah, her long-dead sister. Using the Phoenix Force to access the White Hot Room, Jean found her sister alive and well in an intergalactic mutant sanctuary called Greyhaven. There, Sarah uses her mutant ability to unlock the latent potential of other mutants, but she doesn't remember how she got there or how she evaded death. But someone who might have the answers has just arrived on the scene. Jean's stepson, the time-traveling mutant Cable. The chapter opens with a narration from Jean Grey herself, reflecting on how she tried to shape the destiny of Nathan Christopher Summers from the very beginning. The son of her clone and Scott Summers, the boy was at the center of a prophecy that promised universal salvation. And perhaps he would have become the most powerful mutant to ever exist, if it weren't for the techno-organic virus that nearly destroyed him as a baby. To survive, he was sent into the future, and after Jean and Scott had their consciousnesses transferred there, they did their best to guide the boy and prepare him to survive in a world full of cruelty. Yet even the Phoenix, in all her cosmic wisdom, never believed that taking on the role of mother would make Cable travel back in time with the intent to kill her. Armed with his futuristic weapons, Cable crossed the gates of reality and opened fire on the impossible. Jean Grey, now surrounded by her fiery aura, intercepted every attack with sheer mental force. During the battle, Jean demanded answers. She wanted to know why Nathan was there and why he refused to speak to her. But Cable wasn't in the mood to talk. Instead, he insisted Jean read his mind. Of course, the redhead wasn't going to do that. She knew he was powerful enough to set mental traps even for her. So she kept pushing, asking why he was shooting and what brought him there. Maybe she could even help him. But it wasn't hard to tell that Nathan's real target was someone else. The imposter pretending to be Sarah Grey. That's when Sarah's right hand stepped in to protect her. Keldros Varric, once just a revolutionary, had his potential unlocked through Sarah's influence. Now he possessed enough power to cause real damage. But as he prepared to face Cable, he saw his energy-manipulating abilities simply vanish. That was the level of psionic strength possessed by the son of Scott and Madeline. Then Cable charged at Keldros, until suddenly their fight was interrupted when the Phoenix re-emerged, furious, and used her powers to paralyze them both. She made it clear that Cable couldn't defeat her, and that she wouldn't let him lay a hand on her sister. So he'd better explain the real reason behind that confrontation. That's when Cable told the truth. She wasn't his sister. Jean reacted in denial. She had touched her soul and felt she was real. But Cable explained that what she had touched was only an echo, an embodied memory, as fleeting as a dream. And the most shocking revelation was that this Sarah Grey had been created by Jean herself. Overcome by emotion, Jean Grey had let her heart cloud her vision. She didn't realize what she had done. She had given shape to a memory. But even then, Jean refused to believe it. With no other choice, Cable activated his inhibitors and the temporal slide device. Together, they were launched into a devastated future, where the stars vibrated under the shadow of an existence that should never have happened. This terrifying vision of the future wounded Jean, who said she would never hurt her son like that. But Cable said he was willing to set aside sentimentality in favor of survival. Jean argued that this future wasn't definitive. It was only one among infinite possibilities. But Cable revealed that this was the only future left because Sarah's existence was somehow destabilizing the nexus of reality. That's when zombie-like creatures began to approach, drawn by the arrival of the mutants. While the heroes fought them off, Cable explained that a psychic explosion had been sent across the universe, one so powerful he could feel it even in the future. It was as if the entire timeline had trembled. Then Jane understood that it all started during the battle against Thanos, Pericus, and the Dark Gods. They were using the nexus of all realities to plunge this universe and the next into the realm of shadows. That's why the Phoenix had sent a wave of psychic energy to stop the powers of the dark gods from spreading. Still, Jean insisted this had nothing to do with Sarah, until suddenly she connected the dots and finally recognized the truth. Yes, she was the one who had created Sarah. By spreading her psychic energy, she had, in a way, connected herself to the universe, placing a part of her being among the stars. And Sarah Gray was nothing more than the embodiment of that energy. But this being, no matter how pure she seemed, was unraveling existence. The only solution would be to repeat the pain of the past, erase Sarah from reality. These words horrified the Phoenix so deeply that she slapped Nathan across the face. After all, she was still his sister. To Jean, that Sarah was real. She had created her and couldn't just let her disappear. There had to be another way. Cable understood the attachment but got straight to the point. Sarah wasn't like them. Her existence harmed everything around her, like a cosmic cancer that would grow until it destroyed everything Jean loved. These words only made the Phoenix even more furious because Cable could have killed Sarah the moment he arrived in the present. But instead, he had set his weapon to a non-lethal mode. He explained he did that out of fear of the Dark Phoenix's return. After all, he wanted to prevent an apocalypse, not cause one. He begged Phoenix to put sentimentality aside just for a moment and think clearly. And in truth, Phoenix admitted she had always known something was wrong. Sarah never spoke about the children, never mentioned her husband, never remembered Paul. Phoenix had been ignoring all the signs, and little by little was losing her connection to the white-hot room, the heart of infinity. With reality crumbling around her, Phoenix finally accepted it. She had to burn what she loved in order to save what remained. After all, she is the Phoenix. On the other hand, Sarah Gray, unaware of her true origin, believed herself to be real. She had memories, purpose, power. Jean had given her everything. She was a singularity, a mutant miracle born out of nothing, and just like Jean, she didn't want to lose her sister. Her allies tried to find Jean, but they arrived at the right place at the wrong time. Cable had mentioned a temporal slide, and that was confirmed by a new entity. He watched everything from the edge of the cosmos. She revealed that Jean was in the future, a future on the verge of being forgotten, and that everything, absolutely everything, had happened because of Sarah Gray, the one who lives between the real and the imagined. That's when the being finally introduced himself. His name was In-Betweener. And with a direct look at Sarah, he said the time had come for them to talk. And with that, the truth behind Sarah Gray begins to unravel, but the consequences of that revelation are far from over. The Phoenix has awakened, the In-Betweener has entered the scene, and reality as we know it may be about to collapse. What happens when even a goddess must confront her own creations? In the next chapter, we'll witness the most difficult decisions of Jean Grey's life, and perhaps the moment she'll finally have to let go of the past. So if you want to understand everything that's coming in this cosmic saga of unimaginable proportions, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because the next part of this story is going to shake the universe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next adventure.